This is the story of two men and of two worlds. Infernal Affairs, a 2002 Hong Kong crime thriller, and The Departed.
What did you say? I can get you your money. You didn't come here to...
A 2006 Hollywood remake. A police officer and a gangster infiltrate each other's organizations. Their objective is the same: to hide their identity and to discover that of the other. At the climax of the two films, all secrets have been unveiled. What happens next differs in the two films. In this video essay, we will explore how the different endings can be interpreted as representative of the different philosophies portrayed.
This will get Captain Alibi on the 6 o'clock news.
The two films have different underlying philosophies because of the East-West cultural context, specifically individual identity versus collective identity. For Westerners, an individual's identity may be defined quite independently of the group. The self is at center stage, and the world is perceived by and through it. For Asians, however, individual identity tends to be interwoven with collective identity. These distinctions are mirrored in the differences between Infernal Affairs and The Departed. Infernal Affairs constructs the binaries of opposite collective identities of police and criminals, while The Departed diffuses them. In Infernal Affairs, the two groups of cops and criminals are clearly distinguished. You can either be good or bad, and the characters often ask themselves which of those they are.
幾好意思咁，你覺得我人點咧？即係你覺得我人係好人定係壞人咁啫？
The fact that you can only belong to the group of good guys or a group of bad guys is a representation of the Asian philosophy in which identity is based on belonging to a group. This overarching theme becomes apparent in the scene on the rooftop.
啊！你啲臥底真係得意嘅，揀親都係天台嘅。
我唔似得你，我見得光。我要嘅嘢。
The figure placement and the tight framing in the scene places the two main characters at opposite sides of the screen, thereby splitting it in half. The Departed creates an opposite effect through the figure placement. The characters are constantly moving and struggling with each other, thereby blurring the lines between them. This mutual violence breaks down the traditional roles of police officer and criminal.
All right, only one of us is a cop here, Bill. You understand that, Bill? No one knows...
We pause the film here. We can clearly see that both characters are wearing similar clothing. This implies that they are not that different from each other. As they are both not in uniform or formal clothing, their casual attire expresses their individual identity rather than their group identity. Overall, Infernal Affairs establishes a clear distinction between different groups. In contrast, The Departed often blurs these lines. We can now explore how this difference impacts the self-identification of the main characters. As the undercover cop's identity has been erased, he sets out to find and arrest the mole. When they face off on the rooftop, the undercover cop refuses to kill the mole in both films, albeit for a different motivation.
我以前冇得揀，我而家想揀返做好人。
好啊，同法官講啦，睇下俾唔俾你做好人。
咁即係要我死啊？
對唔住，我係差人。
邊個知啊？
This response implies that the undercover cop feels a professional duty to arrest the mole because he identifies as a member of the police. This collective identity dominates any individual intentions he may have. On the other hand, in The Departed, his refusal to kill stems from personal desires.
You erased me, huh? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Shoot a cop, Einstein. Watch what happens.
Well, what happened is this bull would go right through your fucking head!
Watch what happens!
What, so you can get the parade, huh? The bagpipes and bullshit? Fuck you! Fuck you! I'm fucking arresting you!
That's the stupidest thing you could do.
Shut the fuck up!
As he believes, by killing him, the mole will get praise he doesn't deserve. In the end, a different policeman does kill him.
Okay.
However, this is a reaction to a feeling of personal betrayal, thereby putting his individual motivation above his personal duty. Thus, in The Departed, personal emotions take the limelight over a collective responsibility. The distinction between the importance of collective identity in Infernal Affairs versus individual identity in The Departed brings us to a final example. In Infernal Affairs, as the mole steps out of the elevator, he identifies himself to a group of uniformed policemen, thereby finally identifying himself as part of their group. The repeating close-ups of the badge amplify this notion of collectivism. On the other hand, The Departed presents an opposite philosophy.
Recommending you for the Medal of Merit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a gold star around here, huh?
It's the highest honor we got.
Look, I just want my identity back, all right? That's all.
All right. I understand you want to be a cop again.
No, no. Being a cop's not an identity. I want my identity back. Check it out.
Being a cop's not an identity. I want my identity back. It's not the membership of a group that defines a person, but their individual identity.